today we have decided to come to the Spode Museum to have a look at a bit more pottery. Are you there, John? Yes. Oh yeah, you are. Couldn't see you, were hiding. Yeah, so we've come to look at some pottery, so we shall see you inside. The model of the Spode factory in 1834. The bottle ovens are now gone, long gone. So, something here about Josiah Spode I. He was born 3 years after Josiah Wedgwood, but whereas Wedgwood came from a relatively prosperous family of potters, Spode was born in poverty. Aged 6, he watched his father buried in a pauper's grave. Wedgwood's most successful developments, his Queen's ware, cream-coloured earthenware, and his jasperware, the famous unglazed sprigged earthenware, were introduced in the 1750s and 60s. But Spode had to work his way up and did not acquire this factory, until 1776, when he was 43 years old. His two greatest creations, however, rank alongside those of Wedgwood. Many would say they were more important. Firstly was the technique for printing on earthenware, which meant the highly decorated pieces could be produced efficiently and cheaply. And secondly was the invention of bone china, a form of porcelain which was more beautiful than that of other English china manufacturers, but crucially also was more efficient to make. Here we've got some of the gilded ware. It's absolutely beautiful. So these are the saggers here, where they put the pottery in to protect it.
Carry these on your head.
Yeah, carry them on the head, and they put them in the saggers to protect them from the heat of the kiln so they didn't crack, I guess.
And that would make for a very heavy hat, wouldn't it?
It would. And crushed spines. So it says the site developed to its present size over many years, but major increases in demand between 1800 and 1830 created the need for much more capacity. Geographically, the whole site is built on the flat area below the hills of Hartshill and Penkle. With the water that ran off from the area, new factory buildings have always needed a firm, well-drained foundation. So these pieces enable researchers to identify areas of the site where certain activities took place. This is called statuary porcelain, also called Parian.
Also called really easily breakable pieces.
They're in glass display cabinets which originated at the Spode factory in 1842, the Copeland and Garrett period. It's a fine white dense material with a marble-like finish suitable for the reproduction of large marble models. Minton followed closely behind in 1846. It was very popular with middle-class Victorians. You can see why it looks very sort of Victorian-esque. Very nice. This is about the art of the engraver. So we can see there, just about, I think, some of the engraved. I think it's copper.
Are we able to read what the engravement say?
It's pictures.
Oh, okay.
Underglaze printing process, so it's in different stages of being glazed. And here we've got some huge plates. So these are transfers, so they've got pictures on them.
Oh wow!
They look very. Kind of remind me a bit like Wedgwood in a way, with the blue and the white, but it isn't. These are transfers on the plates.
What are some of the pictures?
There's one of a park, there's one of somebody riding, there's one of some ships on the sea, there's one of a town somewhere, there's another one of another park, and another one like a countryside view. And this one's called Spode's Greek pattern. So you've got kind of figures that you associate with Greek stories, like centaurs and chariots, more Roman that is, chariots. And
when I think of Greeks, I think of the different gods that they have.
yeah. Yeah, that's what there is as well. Is where they do demonstrations of how they engrave, how they put transfers on. So some of the transfers there and some of the tools that they use, but they only do that on Fridays and Saturdays. So we won't have that demonstration today. Some places where they sat, so the paintresses sat on the low stools, so you could get close to the work. And the packers have the lowest stools. You want to see how low these are, John?
All right.
So, this is the packer's stool.
That's the lowest
It's more
one.
like a footstep, isn't it?
It is, yes.
And that's the paintress's stool.
That's just a little bit
A
higher.
little bit higher. Mystery object. Crank the handle left and right. That's a scalloper developed to make the wavy rim on an earthenware cup. I've got some tiles here. Some from the 1880s and some from the 19th century. I'm guessing early 19th century. What could have been later, I don't know. No, these are all from the 1800s.
Wow.
Got some skills then, very skilled. Got some here. They're a bit older, they're late 1800s, early 1900s. That plate's early 1900s. And these are all late 1800s. Hi there again, we've just been and had a look round the Spode factory. It's small, but it's very interesting. And it's quite special, really, when we read about how Spode grew up in poverty compared with Wedgwood, who was around at the same sort of time, who grew up from a wealthy family. So it was harder for Spode to get to where he got than it was for Wedgwood. We also stopped in the cafe and had our lunch, which was very nice and quite reasonably priced as well. So definitely worth a visit for the food. And the history of the place is good too. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the thumbs up button. And if you don't already, please hit the subscribe button and you'll never miss one of our weekly uploads. Thanks for joining us and we'll see you next time. Bye.